What's up, real MVPs? Ricky Widmer here, and welcome in to another edition of MVP Sports Live right here on, you might be watching us on Twitch or on YouTube. I am joined, as I always am, with my beautiful co-host, Dave Oster.
Hey, everybody.
Dave, how you doing? Wonderful Wednesday. It's hump day, middle of the week. How you doing? How's your hump day treating you?
Looking towards the weekend. Really want to eat some pizza today. I don't know why. I just got like a craving for pizza. It might be the fact that I watch a video of a guy eat pizza every day. But yeah, it's definitely starting to hit home right now that I'm like, I should go get some pizza after the show.
I mean, you watch him eat pizza. Sometimes he's eating a hot dog because he has to do a special video in Detroit about a hot dog.
Today he had a Faygo because he's up in Detroit. Getting some. He mentioned the soda versus pop discussion. In that video. So yeah.
I watched
Very aware.
I watched an old one today of when him and Big Cat were at the Thunderbolts game here in Chicago, and he tried Beggar's Pizza.
Went to a Thunderbolts game?
They went to a Thunderbolts game. This was years ago, apparently. Okay. Competed in competitions like running to first, pitching, shagging fly balls, hitting. And he did a pizza review for the Beggar's Pizza, and he gave it a 0. Gave it a 0, and then Big Cat complained. He goes, "Yeah, this guy does a pizza review every time, and he's just gonna say it's a 0 because it's fucking from Chicago, because that's just how it is." Because I was like, "Oh man, that looks like a fucking good slice. I can go for one
Beggar
of those."
Slice is pretty good, yeah.
I mean, I can go for one of those ballpark slices right now. Ballpark slice, ballpark dog. Just you're double fisting the two as they go right into your mouth. But you're not here to talk to listen to me talk to you about double fisting food. You're here to listen to us talk about sports. We got a jam-packed show talking NBA and football on the docket today. All trade news, all trade rumors for both sports. Before we get into everything, though, let's get the housekeeping out of the way. First off, if you're not in the Discord, you're behind the 8 ball because you are not a part of the greatest community in the universe. That is our Discord channel where the MVP universe gets to talk about everything that they love. Football, basketball, wrestling, baseball, everything is in there. You can join it today. Link down below or exclamation Discord into Twitch gets you into that community. If you would like to support us, patreon.com/MVPvids is where you go for that. Thank you to our Patreon sponsor, Pat Hill. You can also throw us a sub on Twitch and get rewarded just like our bronze patrons do as well. We're on Twitch on Monday through Friday, twitch.tv/MVPvids. We are also on YouTube at MVP Sports, so make sure you're following and subbing at both places so you're in tune with everything going on with MVP. Dave, first thing we're going to talk about today has to do with the footballs, and this is kind of a delayed news. Came out over the weekend because we've talked about Deshaun Watson before, and it's been kind of rumored.
I don't recall.
Oh, yeah, we have a couple of times. No. Deshaun Watson, big news.
Never talked to Deshaun Watson.
never talked to him. But over the weekend, it's kind of been confirmed that the Jets are apparently the Jets are in the driver's seat. That if they want Deshaun Watson, they are the preferred location. They are the ones that are most likely to be able to land Deshaun Watson. And the thing is I wanted to talk to you about today is, should the Jets make a trade for Deshaun Watson? Not like a typical like, oh, should they? Because if you have a chance to get Deshaun Watson, you should. But
I don't know, Ricky.
They're in a unique situation, Dave. They have Sam Darnold. They do have draft capital. First off, I want to mention that there was an article that came out today by Brian Barnwell, who I personally don't know. Brian Barnwell. And I don't want to be
disagree.
I don't want to.
No. Call your shot, Ricky.
I will say I don't want to be like Sean, but I will, because last time we called out someone for writing an article, they did clap back. Which Barnwell, if you want to clap back, clap back. If you want to come on the show and argue me, go ahead. He put out an article ranking the 17 top teams that could land Deshaun Watson. First off, there's not 17 teams in the race for Deshaun Watson. Second off, Dave, he's got asinine trades here, like ya boy, Air Bear, getting traded from the Chargers to the Texans for Deshaun Watson. Texans giving up the 13th overall, a 2022 second, a 2023 second, and Air Bear for a 2023 fourth in Deshaun Watson.
Why is the better quarterback being traded with the most assets? It doesn't make sense. Why would you give up Air Bear for Deshaun Watson?
Yeah.
That one doesn't make any fucking sense to me. Like, I understand Deshaun Watson's a good quarterback, but Justin Herbert is the fucking future. Yeah. That kid has a cannon for an arm. He's got a fantastic attitude. He's a leader, and he has grittiness and toughness to his game. He has everything you want out of your fucking franchise quarterback, and he looks like he can throw the ball about 1.5 miles. Like, there is nothing that I would like. Why would you trade away a known asset like him for someone like Deshaun Watson who has had injury concerns, like injury history and injury concerns?
Yeah,
like it just doesn't make fucking sense to me.
No, it doesn't. And the thing that I will say is the first thing I want to start out here is kind of along the lines of the value for Deshaun Watson and why would the Jets be the front runner because of this. And the reason why I would say the Jets are the front runner, because for me, there's only a handful of teams that are going to be in the running for Deshaun Watson. You have the Jets are going to take a look at him. The 49ers will take a look, but they will also be calling up the Detroit Lions as well, and the Packers. You've got the Packers, the Lions, the Texans, all trading quarterbacks.
But LA Rams maybe too.
Rams too. You've got the Indianapolis Colts. I would throw the Bears in that conversation, and the Dolphins. Yeah, maybe Washington football team. So maybe 7 teams that are for 17. Sure. Yeah, way farther than 17. And I was reading today a article from it's a USA Today site called Texas Wire, and they put out a kind of article like, what are the best trade packages, kind of gauging Deshaun Watson's value. And for me, looking at their article, I agree with them with their top 3, where I just want to go through them. Ranking them from 3, 2, 1. The third one is, if I'm the Texans and I was getting a 2020 round for, like in 2021, you're getting a first and a third. Then you're getting a first rounder next year, plus that team's starting quarterback. That to me, I think is fair value. So like for the Jets, I'm getting your pick. I'm getting the second overall pick this year. I'm getting your third rounder this year. I'm getting your first rounder next year. And I'm getting Sam Darnold. Because the one thing is, if you're getting a quality starter back, then maybe the Dolphins, hey, you are the Dolphins, Jets, you can give up less picks. Otherwise, it comes down to you're either getting 3 first-round picks, which is one, like the next 3 years, I just get your first-round picks, and I just hold that capital over you for Deshaun. Or the other one, which is kind of which one do you want to go with, of a first, a third, a fourth, a fifth, a seventh, and then a first and a third next year, where it's basically I'm getting a ton of picks fucking this year. I'm getting 2 next year. With me personally, I would just take the first round picks because having 3 years of double picks, well, you'd get a pick back this year and then double picks the next 2 years is so important.
I agree.
This is to me why the Jets are in the driver's seat. And maybe you can throw the Dolphins in here too, is they can give up less capital. Because if they're going to do a trade, if I'm doing a trade for Deshaun Watson, Dave, Sam Darnold is included in that trade. Because why do I need Sam Darnold anymore? I'm getting Deshaun Watson.
What if you could, A, keep Sam Darnold around as a backup quarterback, B, flip Sam Darnold in a separate deal for assets back? That's my thought. I don't know that I would be... I wouldn't like say no to Sam Darnold being in the deal, but I would value him at the cost of a first rounder then. I think that probably is still his value in this league, is still like a late 1. So, hey, instead of getting another 1 on top, instead of 3 years of firsts, you're getting 2 years, you know? That's sort of my mentality to that. So I think that the deal makes sense for a lot of reasons, but if you don't include him, I think that's not the worst thing for the Texans. Why'd I hesitate? The Texans. Because they could go QB at 2. They could go get a Zach Wilson at 2. They could go get a Fields at 2.
Yeah.
I think that's not out of the realm of possibility for this team.
Yeah, I think that, like, if they are getting a first, I think that the only... I don't want to say the only, but to me, I feel like the Texans are going to favor a team that puts them in the realm of getting a quarterback. Like that's what I would think. To where it's like, if I'm getting back into the first round this year, I want to get my quarterback this year.
That's what I'm saying. You could get 2. Mm-hmm. You don't need Darnold.
Yeah.
Give me 3 firsts.
Yeah.
And then the Jets can go try to reclaim some value with Darnold with some other team who's quarterback hungry, like the fucking Bears or the Lions or the Washington football. Like the list goes. We have a list of 17 fucking teams apparently who need quarterbacks, Ricky. So just go dig up that list from good old Barnwell over there. We'll be good.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say the one thing with me though is I'm not buying these rumors that the Jets are they might be the favorite Deshaun Watson side.
Yeah.
I don't think the Jets are the ones where Watson lands because right now, January 27th, 2021, I do not believe that the Jets will want to trade for Deshaun Watson, which sounds crazy. The only reason I say that is not only because of the value that you're gonna give up, because I get what you're saying. You can flip Darnold to like a Bears and try to recoup some picks.
Might give him a 2 or a 3 or something like that. Late 1 was too high, but 2 or 3.
Also with the Bears though, it's like, are they going to look to trade for a quarterback this year because of how many little picks they have in this year's draft?
I think that we're delusional and we think we're a playoff team with a quarterback who has hands and legs. Mm-hmm. So we're going to try to get a guy who can help us now rather than draft a long-term replacement this year. I think next year would be our hard reset button if we struggle this year with whatever decision we make in the offseason. But again, I think this is the final year of the Pace Nagy. I said that last year, but I will say it again this year. I think
said it mid-season this year.
I think this should be the final year of the Matt Nagy, Ryan Pace tandem should be done in Chicago after this year. So I think they're waiting to go brand new quarterback in the draft so they don't have to run a situation where they got Nagy and he got stuck with Mitch Trubisky. He didn't choose Mitch Trubisky as his guy going forward. He got stuck with him. Yeah. It seems like a situation like that maybe. Mm-hmm. So I think we look for more of if we could get a Sam Darnold, sure, I would give up a 2 and a 4, a 2 and a 5, some conditional shit after. But yeah.
I feel like, and Brandon actually asked me this. I actually have the text here where out of nowhere he said, where does Watson go? Stafford, who do the Bears get? He's like, give me your thoughts, no Stradamus. And I was just like, to me right now with Watson, he's the only one where I'm like, I don't know where he fucking goes. Like Stafford, I believe it's like, okay, Colts or Niners, depending on.
Apparently Broncos threw their name in that fucking conversation for the comment section.
Everyone says,
I don't know if I believe it, but
everyone says Broncos. I feel like John Elway, if he really likes Stafford or any of the quarterbacks out there, will try to get him.
How tall is Matt Stafford?
How tall is he?
That's the John Elway question, right?
How tall do you think he is, if you had to guess?
Like 6'1".
I'm gonna look him up. Stafford is.
I mean, 6'1" makes sense.
He is 6'3", 220.
All right, good
ballpark.
Yeah.
So he's a taller quarterback.
I mean, he's not 6'4", but 6'3" is pretty good for John Elway. That's probably getting his attention over there.
See, Eric says Raiders. I don't buy it. I think the Raiders are
under contract, and they still got cars to figure out that situation.
I think they're committed to Carr.
They got 2 guys who they're going to figure out.
Yeah, they're committed to Carr. So
they're committed to Carr until Mariota takes his job.
Yeah, and
then Carr becomes a movable piece, and then it's even more fucking insanity to this whole situation. I love it.
The whole fucking quarterback carousel
as well, man. You're 100% like.
Yeah,
I'm all in on that.
Thunder also a Colts fan. No, I did not.
You didn't because you didn't watch because you didn't get a chance to watch.
Yeah.
So on the Pat McAfee show, they broke the news. They were covering a tweet that came out about a press conference with the Colts ownership.
Yeah.
The Colts owner had made a comment about offseason, how they were being heavily criticized for looking up past Tom Brady.
Colts owner is Jim Irsay, right?
Correct.
The drunk Jim Irsay.
Go ahead and stat check me on that one, but I think so. That's why I was keeping it very vague because me and names don't get along.
Yeah.
but he was making a comment because they're being publicly criticized for the last couple of weeks about
Jim
Tom.
Irsay.
Nice. So Jim Irsay was making a comment, like I said, about Tom Brady and about how his team passed up Tom Brady, seemingly in the offseason for Phillip Rivers. Well, he made a comment today that it was a much larger comment, but in the context of it, it came down to Frank Reich said he had a great relationship with Phillip Rivers, and we end up going with Rivers. So, if we're analyzing that at all, who else does Frank Reich have a good relationship with?
Carson Wentz.
Carson Wentz.
So that's why Carson Wentz is going to be a Colt.
It does seem that way. Okay. And I mean, that's an owner throwing his his guy under a bus there, but does send a message.
And it's like I said, Watson, I don't know where the fuck he goes. I said Stafford is either a Colt or a Niner. Depends on the Rodgers drama. This is a Watson
situation. So if it's not the Jets, where is it, Ricky?
It's basically to me, it's the Dolphins. And the reason why
you're still locked on Dolphins. Okay.
And the reason why I say no to the Jets is, yet again, coaches in their press conferences, they're not going to deal their hand. Even though Dan Campbell kind of dealed his hand.
Dan Campbell is the dude. He's the fucking dude, man.
Like, you wanted to believe him. It's like, okay, I believe you're going to talk to him, but like, you knew that it was like, okay, you're going to trade
before he got there.
What?
It was decided before he got there, even.
Okay.
Because before he went out there on that press conference, Stafford already had been talked about.
He said he had a conversation with Stafford, but he gave the whole like, we're still going to have conversations about it. Nothing's decided yet. Where I was like, it's decided. But
it has been decided.
Robert Saleh in his press conference, and this has kind of been making the rounds, said this about Darnold. He said, there's a lot of things that we have to do moving forward. We're just getting the staff into the building, so there's so many things that we have to do from an evaluation standpoint with regards to the entire roster, not just a quarterback. To give you that answer right now would not be fair. There's a lot of discussions that need to go on, or need to be had with Joe's staff and obviously himself. So to give you that answer right now would be premature. What I can tell you with regards to Sam is he's got an unbelievable arm talent. There's a reason why he was the number 3 pick in the draft. He's fearless in the pocket. He's got a natural throwing motion. He's mobile. He's extremely intelligent. He's tough as nails. His reputation in the locker room is unquestioned. Just that in general, there's a reason why he was the 3rd pick in the draft, and you can see all those qualities on tape and in the building from the way people speak about him. There's a part of me that goes, Dave, you wouldn't go in that much depth about your quarterback if you weren't leaning with the, this is my guy. This is the guy.
Sounds like a sales job to me, Ricky. I'm on the other side. To me, that sounds like you're trying to sell Sam Darnold as a guy to another team.
Okay.
I don't think that. I mean, hey, you can view it as a term of endearment. I think all the things you said about him were nice. I don't know if they're all 100% true, but as your coach or as someone in the organization, I'm happy to hear that about myself. But that does still sound like a hell of a sales pitch, would it not? Just take another different perspective on that one.
I could see it. To where, like,
I'm maybe too cynical. I'm a very cynical man.
It could be the, like, hey, you know what? Like, love this guy, but he's not my guy. You couldn't
ask for a better leader on your team, Texans.
Yeah, Texans. Like, he could fucking build your culture, Texans. I hear you got a culture problem over there in Houston. Right? Like, I could see it being a sell job, but to me, I look at the other side. Like you say, you're the pessimistic side. I'm more the optimistic side. Where
usually,
like Eric brought up earlier, the Jets have a ton of shit they need to revamp offensively. And if they're giving, like, I know they have 2 first-rounders this year, but to me, if you're giving up, like, just alone, if you're giving up your 2nd overall pick this year, because I feel like if you're trading for Watson, there's no way the Texans take the Seahawk pick and not the 2nd overall pick, then you're pretty much passing up on all of the top 4 receivers. You're passing up on potentially Penny Sewell, and then you're possibly taking, like, the best tackle in that area, I think, would be Christian Darrisaw from Virginia Tech. running back Najee Harris could be in that range.
I'm taking a running back that early in the first.
Wide receiver, you're either taking, I think his name's Tooney out of Florida.
You said top 4 would be gone by that point?
Yeah, so Chase Smith, Waddle, and I think Bateman are all gone by
Bateman. Wow.
By that. Well, because the thing is, like, this wide receiver
Everybody's
class,
got 3 quarterbacks and 3 wide receivers, a tight end, and a tackle in the top 10. So that leaves like 1 spot open. But still.
Well, and I'm still the one that thinks the Bears are going to go wide receiver over tackle. Like, that's just me.
I just think it's. I don't think that we'll see 3 quarterbacks, 3 wide receivers go in the top 10. I think that's insane levels of just. I get it. They're all very good and they're all demand positions, but like that just it seems like a lot.
Well, interesting you say that. Did you see? The reason I didn't put it on is I feel like not too long ago we did this for Todd McShay. But did you happen to see where Mel Kiper had Justin Fields fall to?
No.
15 to the Patriots. Had him fall out of the top. Like, that was...
Is this shocking news anymore? I mean, like, people have been shitting on Justin Fields since the Natty Champ, or before the national championship even.
I'm just saying it goes into what you're saying of, like, it's not going to be like, hey, top 3 wide receivers and quarterbacks are not going to go in the top 10. Somebody is going to fall. And for Mel Kiper was the quarterback that fell, not the wide receiver.
Yeah, I think that, I don't know, maybe some teams will get some great values outside the top 10 still because there are very talented players. But yeah, I think that at the end of the day, like the Texans moving on from Watson, comment section, we've got to vote for did I see 49ers a minute ago? Yeah, best chance for him to win, Watson 49ers.
Yep. I agree. Like,
it is good chance. I agree. I don't know how it gets done though. That's my only concern. Like, do they have all the capital for it? Do they have control of their own first for the future?
They do. They have the capital for it, and they would not have to include Jimmy Garoppolo because they could actually save money by cutting him.
Right. I know the cut job's coming. So yeah.
So like for me, I feel like if a deal like the Niners are going to get done, the deal would have to be the Texans would get the 12th overall pick, a second rounder, which would be the 43rd overall pick, and then a future first and a future third for next year.
You might be doing another potential first, I think. I think Watson might be worth 3 ones, like you said.
Yeah, that's the thing. Where it's
if you're not getting back a player.
Well, and yet again, it depends of like, I'll throw this out here. Let's say Fields, Wilson, Lance, any of the quarterbacks. Let's say it's just a quarterback that the Texans love. Is there at 12? Does that count? Does that count of like, okay, I'm not going to take that third because I'm basically getting a quarterback via the pick that I'm getting from you this year?
I don't know, man. We haven't seen someone like Watson go off the board and like be on the trade block in a long time. So like as far as getting a value for someone as talented and as proven as he is, already locked up on a long-term deal, it's hard to say. I do think it's funny though, and just take a step back and go, I know why the Jaguars aren't doing this, but would you consider it if you were the Jaguars trading the first overall pick for Deshaun Watson?
I wouldn't. And the reason why is I feel like the Jets and the Jaguars are in the same situation where, yes, it's great to have Deshaun Watson, but we're nowhere near the playoffs right now. We've got a lot of holes to fill on this entire team that by adding Deshaun Watson onto this team, how does that put him in a different situation that he's not right in right now with Houston? That's why to me it's like I look at the teams that are going to be desperate enough to do this. The Colts, the Niners, the Dolphins, all these teams have the same thing in common. Playoff hunt. The Niners, everything I'm reading, and you can disagree with it if you want. One article I read today said if Watson went to the Niners, they'd be a lock for the NFC Championship game for like the next 3 years with the talent that they have. If they can stay healthy, that they could be a lock for that
you have
team.
An injury-prone running back, an injury-prone tight end, and an injury-prone quarterback. Nothing about that team makes me want to say they're a lock for anything. Meanwhile, you've got the Rams who literally dragged a worthless fucking quarterback who's getting paid $1 billion to the goddamn NFC Championship game. Like, that's the team that I'm like, if there's a team who's going to make a splash here, I look at the Rams.
Yeah.
That's a team who you could plug in, like, it's basically, as a Bears fan, I commiserate. They're a team who has a all fucking world defense.
Yeah.
And if they had any talented quarterback, they would be in the fucking Super Bowl. Like, that's it. That's what it is.
The only
and they've been known to make big splashes in the past, Ricky.
The only thing I'm going to throw out, and Eric throws this out too, is can they get a deal done without having their pick this year? Because the Jags have the Rams pick this year because of I think that was the Jalen Ramsey trade that sent this year's first to Jacksonville.
You can have Jared Goff and the next 4 first-rounders for all I fucking care if I'm the Rams. Like, that's the kind of deal. Like, how much did Sam Bradford cost? Wasn't he like a ridiculous haul?
He was fucking like, I think he was a first, a third, and an extra first.
I thought he was more than that for some reason. I don't know. I'm just trying to think of like
the bad thing with Sam Bradford was that we gave up 2 firsts for him. I know that. I think it was a first, a third, and then an extra first and something else. Here, let me see.
Yeah, so maybe the Rams can do like a 2, a 4, a 5 this year, and then a 1, 3, 4 next year or something, and then like that way you just give them like a barrage of picks, you know?
But would you put his value like? I wouldn't even put Deshaun Watson's value on the same level as Sam Bradford's. I would say
obviously Bradford was in a situation where he was going to be a rookie, so like it's different because you get that rookie contract and you knew he was going to be, you thought he was going to be elite from his time in college. I mean, I think that the problem right now is everybody's all over the place with the value for Watson.
Yeah,
because he's locked up in a long-term deal.
I overvalued it. We gave up a first round pick in the 2017 draft, which ended up being Derrick Barnett, who made the game winning play for the Eagles in the Super Bowl. That's the funny thing about that. And a conditional 4th round pick. So a first.
What trade are you talking about?
Sam Bradford.
I'm talking about his initial draft. Like, didn't they trade for the pick for Sam Bradford? Like,
let me look it up. I thought you were talking about when he got traded to the Vikings.
No, I don't give a fuck about that Sam Bradford. That was like post-bust Sam Bradford.
Well, that's what I was saying. Like that's why I was like the value of them. No, he was just number 1 to the Rams. They didn't trade. Jared Goff, the Rams traded up for, because that was the one where they traded up with the Titans for 1. And then the Eagles traded up with the Browns for 2.
I think it's somebody who traded up for a quarterback. I don't know. My fucking memory's foggy as shit.
Cam Newton wasn't traded up for. Let's see, 2012. Andrew Luck, obviously they weren't going to trade that. But, unless you're thinking, okay. I mean, so in 13, Luck was taken at 1, but the Washington football team traded up for RG3. That was 2012. 2013. Oh, that was the Eric Fisher draft.
What was the value for RG3's deal?
Okay, hitting back.
We're completely off track here, but I'm just genuinely curious.
Hey, it's all value. So St. Louis gave the. So let's see. They gave up the 2nd overall pick, for the 6th pick. The 6th pick, a future first, which was ended up being the 22nd.
2 firsts.
And then a 2014 second rounder.
So 2 1s and a 2.
Yeah, and then on top of it, so 2012 was the draft. In 2012, they got a first and a second. Then they got a first rounder in the next year's draft.
Second one. Yep.
And then not a second. They got then in 2014. So basically 3 1s. 3 1s and then a 2 in the current draft.
Yeah.
To trade up
so I think that's probably the value.
Okay.
I mean, that was for a rookie quarterback on a rookie deal who you have control over for the next, X years. This is a proven quarterback who has got playoff potential. Like, anywhere he goes, he can, run an offense and get you into the playoffs and make some magic happen. So he's under contract control. Again, it's not a cheap contract, but still control. I think, probably 2 1s and like a smattering of laters, or 3 1s. Like, that's somewhere in between those two is where it's going to happen. Yeah. That's why I think, I know the Rams don't have it this year, but like, fuck it, going forward, like you can give them enough futures that like they will make it happen. Or obviously the Rams and the Green Bay Packers, but like I'm saying, if you want to win now, the Rams is the situation you go to.
Yeah, I think the Niners, yes, there is the question mark with the injuries. But yet again, if you can catch lightning in a bottle with that team and everyone stays healthy, I think Deshaun Watson, I think it would be just as well.
When you're telling me everyone stays
49ers.
healthy, that's funny.
I mean, besides this year though, they weren't injured a ton the year
Greg Hill's
before,
been injured
where they went to the Super Bowl. Yeah, but it wasn't like this year, to where it was like they even had guys on the defense that were riddled with injuries this year.
I just don't remember names.
Like when Joey Bosa went down, we were all like, "Yep, fuck that! Like this ain't the year for them." But it'll be interesting to see with Deshaun Watson, what happens, because yet again, like I told Brandon, I don't fucking know where he goes.
How long
like,
until the draft happens?
Draft is in, I want to say late March, early April, so around that time. So I mean,
a long month and a half, 2 months.
Yeah, because like
if we hit 4 Deshaun Watson topics before the draft, I will actually just let Soaps come in here and talk football. That's where we're at on this. I can't do it anymore.
I mean, unless there's like this was one where it's like, okay, there's kind of some change, question mark.
Yeah. I don't know. I think the Jets make the most sense still.
Mm-hmm.
I understand the concerns of where's the team actually at, but it's just they've got the right answer this year. And if the thing is make it happen now and get your best return, I don't think you're going to get a better return than the number 2 overall pick in this class.
Yeah. Dave, let's move on. Let's go into a segment we love to do. We're going to do Wet Boys. The dampest of dudes, the soggiest of shooters, moistest of men, sometimes the mistiest of misses. These are our players of the day from the day prior. How it works is Dave gives a wet boy, I give a wet boy, and then the patrons at patreon.com/MVPvids, silver and above, also give to vote on a wet boy each and every day. Today, I almost went with a dry dude, Dave. I stayed away from it. I'm going to go positive. Like I told Soaps, I feel like I've been too negative this January. We've had 2 dry dudes in as many as 4 weeks. I got to go positive. So we have 3 wet boys for today. I'm going to let you go first with yours. Who's your wet boy? January 27th, 2021.
Shout out to Sporting Logically, I think is his channel, for worst contracts in the NBA. I got to go with Rudy Gobert here. Rudy Gobert, just absolutely dominant performance defensively, playing on what is the best offense in basketball right now. And he's playing some of the best defense in basketball right now. This team is like the Dwight Howard Magic on steroids. They are sharpshooters everywhere with the best defensive anchor in fucking basketball. And I don't know why people are acting surprised. This is year 2 of it. And Mike Conley, I almost give Mike Conley another one just because he's Mike Conley. Like he leads every fucking advanced metric. When he's on the court, they are so fucking good. Like this is a team who is going to be dangerous whole season. I wonder if they're going to add in another shooter. We talked about Bielitsa potentially being a pickup for them on the cheap as the season goes on. I would love to see them add a couple more guys on that bench. But really, just Rudy Gobert deserves so much credit, and everybody wants to rip on him for having gotten his big contract. What are you supposed to do in the NBA when you're that good of a player, where you're a perennial defensive player of the year, and you score incredibly efficiently? Like, I don't know. They built the perfect team around him right now, it looks like. So yeah. I don't get the criticism at this point, you know?
No, I don't. Like, this Jazz team is, I think, underrated. That's what I'm looking for. Because, the game they played last night against the Knicks was a close one. I know people like myself, FanDuel was even tweeting about it, where it's like, oh my God, fucking Jazz bettors right now are fucking shitting their pants, because it's like, how are they going to cover 11.5? And then they posted 2 pictures of the final score, which they ended up covering, and then just the Ron Burgundy meme of that escalated quickly. Like, holy shit, they ended up covering. This team is good. Like, the last few games I've watched of them, it's like they looked good last year in the playoffs. I know Donovan Mitchell and Murray went mano-a-mano, but I feel like this year...
Bojan Bogdanovic, though.
Yeah, which he's playing.
Everybody wants to
Jumping
forget
Joe
about
out
that.
there. Royce O'Neal's giving him quality minutes out there too. Nailing down threes from the stretch four position basically.
Yep.
They're fucking good. Also, Dave put the early favoritism on. I'm just gonna say it now. Not an official pick, but Bucks are gonna win the Super Bowl. You want to know why?
Why is that?
Just announced right now. Tweeted out they will be wearing the white jerseys at the Super Bowl.
Ooh,
white jerseys, pewter
jerseys.
pants. White jerseys usually win. Tom Brady last Super Bowl he won. He wore white jerseys against.
Well, there it is. Fucking wrap it up. Just save us 2 weeks of talking about football. Really.
And then the Chiefs will wear their red jerseys. That's a little breaking news.
That'd be pretty good
from the NFL.
It's also not making them wear a color rush, man. I'm good with whatever they wear. Like, don't. Like, the NFL and color rush has been one of the worst.
Some of them are good. I like the all yellow Rams, or the all purple Vikings. But like when you had the all red Bills and the all green Jets, the colorblind games,
those were awful.
Yeah. Or the all it's that like tan color the Jaguars had, where it was like all that color. It's like no.
Yeah.
Why didn't you just make it all black?
No, there's so many bad color rush unis out there. There are apparently some good ones. I will asterisk my comment, but
didn't the Saints have all black ones, Jake? Weren't they all black? Because I don't think they were all tan or all white. I feel like they were all black. Yes, the all whites with the fucking like
gold numbers. It did look really good. That's why the New Orleans Pelicans this year have the all white with gold numbers.
Yeah,
I mean it makes sense
because it just looks baller.
It really does. It looks really good.
For my wet boy Dave, got to go to the college ranks. I was kind of tossing it up between two because we had two upsets last night.
Okay,
what?
I've got two shout outs. Yeah, you do you.
Do your shout outs first then, because I have a two shout outs. So go ahead. Do your
shout outs real quick on my end. Number one is Sharife Cooper because he lived at the foul line last night. Fantastic game for him.
When doesn't he live at the foul line?
He took 21 fucking shots.
Oh, I know, Dave.
From the foul line.
Most of his games, it's like you look at his foul shots. It's like, oh, that's where most of his points came.
He's like 5'9". Yeah. He's incredibly gifted as far as being a point guard. I can't wait to see what he's going to do at the NBA level. Like he could be this generation's like, fingers crossed, I'm gonna get murdered for this, Chris Paul. Like he's the undersized point guard who has the right attitude, the right mentality. I mean, he can't shoot a three for fucking whatever. Like, yeah, he will learn to shoot. That's a time thing. But I'm excited to watch him play at the next level. So Sharife Cooper gets one shout out. And then Justin Champagne, and I probably pronounced his name wrong from Pitt. We've talked about him before. Yeah. Because he's had phenomenal games and Pitt had that awesome game earlier this year. Like he's just been really good. And I wonder if he's creeping his way on people's boards, Ricky. He might be a late one.
He may. I cannot wait because originally when at the beginning of the year, based off of how we did things last year, around basically this week would have been our next mock. But because of the G League, I made a pimp decision and I pushed it a month because I feel like nothing's changed with the G League guys. Okay. So if you're okay with it, I would like to wait until we see the G League guys play.
We'll do a big board?
Sure, we can do a big board.
We'll do a big board.
With that. Because
mock hasn't changed what big board has.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we could do that next week. We can record one. Because with the mock, I just want to see the G League guys play. Because I feel bad for I know Jalen Green's good. I know Kuminga's good. He's like Cade Cunningham.
Jake asked the question in chat for those wondering why I'm slapping my wall. The wall behind me clearly states that Cade Cunningham is the number one on the board, and he shall never not be the number one on the board.
I'm gonna buy you a sign that just says Cade Cunningham.
I'm about to Sharpie it on my wall. I'm gonna paint it anyway, so whatever. You know?
Dave Sharpies it and then paints it over next year. Next year he just puts it would be. No, Chet's a junior, so it'd be Amoni? Is Amoni next year's first?
You always do this. Chet's older than Amoni.
No, it's the opposite.
No, it's not.
I swear it is, Dave.
No, look it up, Ricky.
Amoni.
We've done this 3 times now.
Because I thought the joke was that Amoni is older, so that it's like Chet was his father, like the younger kid was the older kid's father. Yeah, and I'm wrong again. So it was just okay. Next year it'll be Chet on the board.
Every single time.
Dude, I always think of Moni Bates as a year older than Chet Holmgren. Sue me. But for my wet boy, I got to go college. I'm going with Jalen Krucher. We had two big upsets. One was Dayton over the Pelicans of St. Louis. Not really a huge upset. The only reason I say that is Dayton's been playing as of recently. The Pelicans, because of COVID, have not played since the end of December. So because of game postponements, they haven't played for a while. So Dayton got the close win. Krucher hit some key shots down the stretch for the Dayton Flyers. Also, I wanted to give a shout out to Reeves on the Oklahoma team, having a big game against Texas, beating them, upsetting the number 5 Texas Longhorns in that game. So one of the top 5 falls. Almost went with Reeves, but I had to go with my boy Krucher in the end. And then Dave,
who did Han's pick? Han, can I guess?
Go ahead.
Was it DeMarcus Cousins?
No.
Oh, because that would have been a good one.
It is from the NBA.
Was it John Wall?
Nope.
He punked his old team now. If you saw that,
he did.
Him and Russ got double teed up.
I saw that.
Good moment.
From the same game your guy was from.
Oh, so he's a Knick. Austin Rivers.
Austin Rivers, baby. Austin Rivers. 25 points, went 7 of 5 from 3. I feel like this was all his first half stats, too. I feel like they all came in the first half. But bunches, Austin Rivers getting the wet boy for balling out and giving Jazz bettors a little bit of a scare. Yeah, Jake, you mean the first half Austin Rivers. Because in the second half, he wasn't doing anything. But yeah, we had some good. John Wall had a good game.
Yeah, John Wall balled out. DeMarcus Cousins, I was so proud of Boogie.
Trae Young balled out.
What's up?
Trae Young also balled out. He had one of those ridiculous Steph shots and then just pointed at the floor that's my. He was
playing against the fucking third stringers on the Clippers. I'm not really that impressed.
Yeah, good point. I mean, Kawhi and PG now. Luke Kennard was out there though.
Yeah, the defensive monsters, Luke Kennard and Terrence Mann out there. Watch yourself.
Shit out of here. Watch yourself.
They even set Batum.
They set Batum?
I'm double checking that now because that claim sounds egregious, but
man,
I think they did.
Yeah, I mean,
no, Batum started.
That's why I didn't give anyone for.
Yeah, so Reggie Jackson, Luke Kennard, trying to lock up Trae Young. Do you know what's going to happen?
Yeah, no, I get you. But Dave, before we move on into our next topic, let's talk a little bit about the sponsor of today's show, and that is Manscaped. If you are somebody that needs some extra help grooming below the waist, my balls have never felt smoother, Dave. It is a great feeling. I love it. And yeah, it's every man should feel balls as smooth as I have. Support for MVP Sports Live is brought to you by Manscaped, who is the best in below the waist grooming. What?
Are we not doing phrasing?
We are not doing phrasing. Who are the best in men's below-the-waist grooming. Manscaped offers precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. Manscaped is trusted by over 2 million men worldwide. Join the movement for all your below-the-waist grooming needs. This is a Lawnmower 3.0. I've showed it off for about 3 weeks now. Some features. 3 weeks? Well, I mean, no, 1.5. Not. You're right, 1.5. My counting's off. But, hour and a half battery. Can be used in the shower, does not nick you, which is the most important part, because I don't know if you've ever gotten nicked on the balls, Dave. You could get cut anywhere on the body. It's like, you know what, that's a little cut, doesn't matter. You get it on your balls, and you're like, ooh, that stings. Oh, that stinks.
It's a panic moment. It's definitely panic.
Yeah, this will not do it for you. This will make them feeling smooth, and you won't have to worry about nicks. So go right now, get 20% off and free shipping with the code MVP at manscaped.com. That's 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com, and use the code MVP. Your balls will thank you. But Dave, let's move from the football world into the basketball world, and we're talking a little bit more trades. Trades on trades on trades. And the first one, there is news coming out from Shams, Dave, that apparently 2 teams have contacted the Pistons about a trade for Derrick Rose. I mentioned yesterday at the end of our Wolves conversation, man, just put Derrick Rose on a contender. I want to see him get a ring before his career is done. Now, one of these teams won't be getting him a ring this year. Another one could. Knicks and Clippers, both in the running, apparently, have both contacted the Pistons for Derrick Rose. Dave, out of these two, is there one that excites you, one that doesn't, or is there none of these that excite you?
Tom, let him go. Let him be free, Tom. You can't stalk him your entire coaching career. It's getting creepy. I don't think he appreciates it.
Rose would also be coming back to New York. He's played for New York already, Dave. Yes, remember that.
But it's Tom Thibodeau being creepy now. Like, great. Coach in Chicago, loved you. Moved on. Oh, and then got him again in Minnesota. And now he's trying to give him for a third time on the Knicks. Like, I get it. You love Derrick Rose. You love Taj Gibson. You got him in there. Like, it's just let him go, Tom. Let Derrick Rose get a ring. Let that man get a championship. That's what needs to happen here. Going to the Clippers gives him the best possible chance to get a championship out of those two teams, at least. No disrespect, New York. You're overachieving. I think you're very happy with what you have done this year. But you don't want Derrick Rose to take away minutes from like Emmanuel Quickley. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me. So I get it. It's just Tom Thibodeau has an obsession. He needs to fucking get over it. But yeah, Derrick Rose, Clippers, massive pickup. Clippers are already one of the best offenses in basketball. For those who don't know, but they would be helped out by someone who can help carry an offensive load off the bench. Straight up Lou Williams improvement. 6th man of the year, 18 times running Lou Williams. The award's going to be renamed to the Lou Williams Award shortly, but Derrick Rose would be a massive improvement for them because he does facilitate. He does play a little bit of defense, and he has that it factor to his game. And having Kawhi Leonard, who can knock down a big shot for you, it's great. But having Derrick Rose and Kawhi Leonard, who can knock down big shots for you, even better. Even better, Ricky. Because you don't want Paul George taking last-minute shots. No. That's the worst-case scenario.
Remember when we went to the Bulls OKC game, Dave? In the UC? You, Sean, and I went, and it was a last-second shot, and it was like, oh, man, I hope Paul George makes a shot. He's going to brick it, and he bricked it.
He did. We literally called the shit out there.
And like, bricked it.
That's exactly what it is. So, I mean, look. The guy's got a reputation. He's shooting 50-50-90 this year, so like whatever. But the point is, Derrick Rose has an it factor to him. He's electric. He's exciting. He's a great guy on the court. Hashtag on the court. We will continue to say that.
Yeah.
I want to see him win a championship, so I would prefer if he would go to the Clippers now. Please and thank you.
Yeah, and here's
Warriors would be fun. Clippers would be great. Lakers would be insane.
Yeah, and here's the only thing I have with a Derrick Rose trade is what's the value for Derrick Rose? Like
late one.
Okay, so a late one. Okay. So if that's the case,
I think it's just a matter of you find a contract that's close enough. It doesn't even have to match because I think the Pistons are going to be making multiple moves this year. And there's a lot of guys who will be moved off that team who they've just been cycling through kind of. So I'm excited to see, what they can do to make contracts work. But like, I think they'll have room for whatever you want to ship them.
Yeah, and so that's why to me, I feel like out of these two teams, the Clippers are the team I'd want to see him with.
Oh, yeah.
The only problem is the Knicks, I think, have the better package. And the only reason why I say that is so right now, the Knicks have the cap space to where they don't have to give up anyone in the deal, and they have basically 3 first-round picks to work with. They have their own, they have Dallas's, and then they also have the Clippers pick, which is a swap with New York outgoing. So basically it says here, New York has the right to swap its 2021 first-round pick for the Clippers pick, protected for selections 1 through 4, and is therefore not conveyable. Then the LA Clippers obligation to New York is extinguished. So I'm going to undo that because that's not going to convey. Because both the Pistons and the Knicks are going to have higher picks. So like, what? You're either doing a deal where if I'm the Knicks, I can give you the Dallas pick and get Derrick Rose straight up, or if I'm Or if I'm the Clippers, it would basically be a Derrick Rose for Lou Will swap because of contracts, and then you get 2-2s.
Yeah, I think Derrick Rose Lou will swap in 2-2s. On the Knicks side, I wouldn't give up. What's up?
You think that's an overpay? Just one of the Dallas picks?
I think a straight Dallas first rounder, which could be anywhere from 16 to 24, is an overpay. Yes,
I guess
Derrick Rose is not worth that. I mean, I guess he is if he wins you a championship, but that's not what the Knicks are looking at. So, I mean, I think that in the Knicks situation, they can match 2-2s and toss in something else. Like some young player who's not getting minutes on their team, maybe toss in Frank, toss in DJ, because obviously the Pistons need a point guard. Give him Frank or DJ. Frank makes the most sense because give him another European player. The Detroit Pistons love European players.
I was gonna say, do they need a point guard? I know Killian is injured and he's a rookie, but isn't he the point guard of the future? That's what they drafted him for.
Yeah, clearly Frank isn't the starting point guard, so there's no competition. It's just you need a body who can play point guard this year, and then you need a backup point guard of the future who you could probably get him to a really cheap re-sign because he's at the end of his rookie deal, right? So
yeah, he's on the last year of his deal. Yeah. What about and yet again, I don't even know if the Pistons would want this.
I would do Frank and a 2 for Derrick Rose.
What about Kevin Knox and 2-2s?
I think Knox they want to keep. I think Tom sees something in Kevin Knox, and he wants to work with him. Look, I'll be the first to tell you we've shit on Kevin Knox multiple times before, deservedly so.
Yeah, the kid who got his candy taken away.
Yeah, and it was the funnest fucking moment of summer league I think ever. Yeah. Outside of Taco Fall, coming into a game, just entering the game was just pandemonium. But yeah, I think that Kevin Knox still has upside in Tom Thibodeau's system. Working with him, developing his game. Again, he was a raw prospect coming out, so he just hasn't hit anywhere. Yeah. I think they want to keep him. I think they're looking to move on from DJ, or I'm sorry, not DJ, Dennis Smith Jr. Or Frank would be the likely in a 2. I think one of those two guys in the second rounder would get a deal done for Derrick Rose in my mind.
But for the Clippers, it would have to be Lou Will and 2-2s. Okay. Which, if I'm the Pistons, I would just to me, because Lou Will, he's done at the end of the year. We're just letting him walk. You're letting Lou walk.
You just fucking try to flip him right back. Okay. So who wants Lou Will now? Yeah. If I'm the Pistons, I'm playing this straight up like 2K. I've got a player who is a valuable veteran to some team because of his contract, because he can score. Someone might want Lou Will. If anybody wants Lou Will, we'll take picks. They are such a young team, and I'm not sure Lou Will is exactly the veteran on the roster who you want to set the tone,
Who could they flip Lou Will to?
I don't fucking know.
What playoff team?
I get one thought ahead of myself. I don't get 3 steps in front.
Because I'm just thinking, what playoff team
would be what I would expect. What Clarkson, So if I'm looking at the NBA standings, being realistic, who needs a scoring punch off the bench at the guard position?
I want to say the Nuggets, but not really the Nuggets, right?
Monty Morris is a supreme facilitator for them, and I think MPJ is starting to put on. So I think they're going to be okay. I might look at a team like Atlanta if they continue to have struggles in their backcourt. Come close to trade deadline, Atlanta might be someone who's willing to ship off. Rondo didn't do shit for us. I could see them moving on from Rondo. They picked him up as basically he could be a mentor. He can share his massive brain with Trae Young, but he's done nothing on the court. So they could look to move on from him. I think the Nets would be interesting because the Nets, who the fuck knows?
Now,
that's all a problem just for fun,
I'm going to throw this out. Right now, that's not a late pick, is it?
I'm but looking. Then, in the West,
it's not a late
I don't know,
pick,
man. It's tough. The Western playoff picture is so murky. Dallas would be interesting, but again, I like Brunson out there. I think he's a great backup guard, but they could use another guy who can get his own points, and I think he would thrive in Dallas's offense. So, Dallas Mavericks, outside chance.
So the only question I have here is for if the Hawks are getting Lou Will, would they be giving up if their pick is in the play, like out of the lottery? Would they be giving up
one for Lou Will?
Okay, so they're giving up a 2.
Yeah.
Okay, so
it literally like a 2 and a contract filler.
Okay, so basically the trade that I'm working with here, let's see if it works. Yeah, you're right. So, if the Pistons tried to include the Hawks in the deal, the Hawks would have to find $7.9 million to flip to the Pistons for contract reasons. So, like, either a Rajon Rondo or a they're not trading DeAndre Hunter. Like a Chris Dunn and then somebody else. Like, they would have to flip pieces in order to get Lou Will on that team. So that's why it's like, I like the Clippers, but yet again, could the Pistons, I think the way they'd flip it is so they don't have to deal with the recently traded bull crap. They would do basically what the Rockets did, where it's like, okay, before this deal gets done, let's
you can try to be completed. It's just a matter of you can't play for your team. Like it's you have like that window.
Yeah. So like how they added the Cavs, they added the Pacers.
Team.
Yeah.
I think the Mavs would be a great team if they could flip him to the Mavs.
Because hey, they've got second round picks. They just don't have first round.
I got
picks.
it too.
The other trade news, Dave, and this is actually per reports so nothing in stone yet about a trade actually happening. But apparently, the Warriors and the Pelicans have had conversations about Kelly Oubre Jr. being flipped from the Warriors to the Pelicans. And the reason why this kind of confused me is because the main thing that everyone is kind of running with from this is that the Warriors are trying to either get a Lonzo Ball or a JJ Redick. The two trades that I've seen kind of, and this is kind of like the main structure of them that I've seen, is the first one involves JJ Redick. It's Kelly Oubre goes to the Pelicans, JJ Redick comes to the Warriors, and then the Warriors also get a lottery protected first round pick for 2022 from the Pelicans. The other one involves Lonzo Ball, where it's Kelly Oubre to the Pelicans, Lonzo to the Warriors, and then the Warriors get 2 second-round picks this year. So it's kind of like a JJ Redick, you're sending a first, Lonzo Ball, you're sending 2 seconds. In your mind, Dave, does a deal get done with the Warriors and the Pelicans? And if you're the Pelicans, is there even any special reason you want to add Kelly Oubre to your team?
I can't think of a damn reason. I'll be honest with you. Like,
I can't either.
I get that Lonzo's not a fit with your new offense and stuck next to Eric Bledsoe. But if you think Kelly Oubre will help your team at all, I'm confused. He provides no spacing. He couldn't learn an offense, and we're a month into the season. So I've got serious concerns. And again, yes, he's, I think he's only under contract this year, right? It was a 1-year deal.
Yeah, Kelly Oubre, $14.3 million 1 year.
Yeah, it just doesn't make sense to me. I don't understand this deal other than the fact that they want to jettison, Lonzo Ball from their team. I think JJ Redick, fun player, would love to play next to Steph, and that would work out great. I think Lonzo Ball would play great next to Steph as well. I don't have a problem with either one of those, but I don't understand what interest the Pelicans have in Kelly Oubre.
I mean,
none. I don't get it, Ricky. Can you tell me?
The reason why I asked you is I don't get it either. And the reason the reason why I don't get it is I could see why the Warriors want to do this because, like you mentioned, let's be honest, JJ Redick hasn't been having the best season. No. So maybe this is just a situation of Warriors, Pelicans call each other. They have a conversation of hey, you've got a guy, 3-point shooter. He ain't having a good season for you. I have a guy, 3-point season, 3-point shooter, not having a great season for me.
He's supposed to be just an all-around offensive weapon. He's a slasher.
Let's just try flipping them, and let's see if the change of scenery works better for both of them. Because I feel like the JJ Redick for Oubre swap is... That's why, when I saw the first-round pick thrown in there, I was like, why do the Pelicans have to throw a first-round pick in there? Is Kelly Oubre that much better right now than JJ Redick? Because he hasn't really been playing well. Like, he's had some games.
JJ Redick right now. We'll say that.
He's better than JJ Redick, but like there are some games where it's like, wow, Kelly Oubre is good. Then there's some games where it's like, wow, he looks like absolute dog shit out there. Like he shouldn't even have his hand. He shouldn't even have hands to hold the ball in the fourth quarter. Like to shoot the basketball. That's exactly just what he looks like out there. So that's why I was like, why am I giving a first round pickup for that? Like I could see why the Warriors want to add JJ Redick. Hey, we feel like with our system, change of scenery, Steve Kerr is the coach. Yeah. He could click with this team.
Shooting, movement, passing. That JJ Redick will thrive there. What did the Pelicans turn into? The fucking opposite.
Yeah.
They got Eric Bledsoe as their starting point guard. They have very little.
Would Stan Van even know how to use Kelly Oubre?
Doesn't know how to use Lonzo Ball, so why would he know how to use Kelly Oubre?
Yeah, exactly.
Like they have no spacing. They are they're a poorly run team right now.
I thought for a second I thought you were going to be like, they're a poor man's, and then nothing. Like, they're not a poor man's.
Poorly run team. I don't want to say like their GM's an idiot because I don't think he is. But I think that the team assembly right now is, I don't know what Stan Van's supposed to do, but he's coaching poorly.
Yeah. Like
the pieces don't fit, but also you're not making it any better on yourself.
And even the other thing, like the other side of this that I wanted to throw in there was with the Pelicans, like there's even conversations going on that if they want to move JJ Redick, who do they move him to? Like, obviously there's playoff teams that want 3-point shooting. It's so valuable. But it's just what type of return are you going to expect from a JJ Redick? Because right now, not playing that well, so you can't really sell him high. You got to sell him low, basically, is what you're doing right now. Are you just hoping for second round
falls out of his slump? Like if he can hit his slump breaker game and get shooting the way he used to, then there will be value there. I think they're basically on the timeline of we have until the trade deadline to find a new home for JJ Redick. Lonzo Ball's a little bit trickier because obviously he's an RFA. I don't know that they want to invest a lot of money in him, but I think they are waiting to see what the offers are. Obviously the Bulls have notably taken interest in him, so we'll see. But again, I don't understand this Kelly Oubre obsession. Makes no sense to me. I don't think he's a plus player out there. He is a selfish player on the court. He doesn't play defense very well unless he's locked in. And he clearly didn't learn the offense for the Warriors. So it's kind of frustrating to watch guys who have been there as much time as he have less struggles, He's a professional. He's been in the league for like 6 years, 5. I think this is 6th year. 1, 2, 3.
Talk about Kelly Oubre.
Might be 7th year. Yeah.
Let's see.
He played a couple years in Washington and then a couple years in Phoenix.
Let's see. Basketball reference. Help me out. The Wave Poppy, as they call him, is in his 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th year. Yeah, he was in Washington. Then during the 2018-2019 season, got flipped to Phoenix, and then this year got flipped to the Warriors.
Yep. So again, it doesn't make a fucking lick of sense to me.
Yeah, the 3 nicknames they have for him is, you're right, Tsunami Poppy,
that's the popular one,
Wave Poppy, and Shot. Are the 3
Tsunami
nicknames
Poppy.
they have. Doesn't beat the booty call.
He's an IG model out there. That's what he's got going for him.
Dude, best looking NBA player. But what JJ Redick though, I've seen people mock him being traded to the Sixers. The only thing is they got to give up $12 million in cap, and I don't think the Pelicans want to take on Tobias Harris, and I don't think you want to trade Tobias Harris for JJ Redick.
Tobias is a much better player.
The other trade that
contract.
The other trade I thought about in my head, and yet again, this is mainly because he's been injured for most of this year. So yet again, it's, hey, Pelicans, you get this guy for the rest of this year if he's healthy, and then next year he's also a shooter, and then the team that's trading for him basically gets JJ Redick to hopefully help them this year. A TJ Warren JJ Redick swap. Would that make sense?
No. You already have Dougie McBuckets and Jeremy Lamb. There's no need for JJ Redick on that team.
More shooting's not a bad thing, or more shooting.
You're getting TJ Warren back eventually.
Yeah, yet again, like,
I would
coming
rather have
off of the injury, is he going to be what he was?
Again, Doug McDermott, Jeremy Lamb.
Okay.
You don't need JJ Redick.
Okay.
He's not necessary on that team.
Okay. Yeah, I was just trying to think of like teams that need shooting because $12 million in contract. JJ Redick is at 13 mil. So 13 mil in contract. Not many teams are just going to have that cap space lying around to where it's like, oh yeah, we could just take him on and here you go, 2 seconds, throw it your way like fucking Scrooge throwing you some. There you go. You do the Spencer Dinwiddie swap.
I don't know.
I mean, hey, the net you're adding shooting. It's not like Dinwiddie's going to play this year for you.
Exactly.
I mean that, and yet again, if JJ Redick can help you in the playoffs, that's all you're asking for. Any final thoughts, Dave, before we wrap everything up?
I think that's it.
All right. You guys, thank you for doing everything you do. Remember, join the Discord, the greatest community in the universe. If you're not in it already, link down below, or exclamation Discord into Twitch chat. To get that link, you can support us at patreon.com/MVPvids, but you can also throw us a sub on Twitch as well. We're on Twitch every Monday through Friday, twitch.tv/MVPvids. We're also on YouTube at MVP Sports. Thank you to our Patreon sponsor, Pat Hill. Thank you of these other sponsor of today's show, MANSCAPED. Remember, 20% off and free shipping, manscaped.com. Use the code MVP. Dave and I will be back tomorrow with more. We're going to have Jake on today, but games live ran long, and I know Jake wanted to watch the Sixers-Lakers game, so we're going to have Jake on tomorrow at the end of the show to talk some baseball as well, because there's a ton of baseball news going on in the world that we need to catch up on. But we will be back tomorrow. Thank you guys for being as great as you always are. And as always, have a good day, everybody.
WPN.